The silent call Marcus Vale had spent 15 years fixing things that everyone else had given up on. Broken fusion cores that other engineers declared dead, shattered quantum drives that defied every manual in the known galaxy, mining rigs held together by hope and improvised welds. If it had circuits, gears, or a power source, Marcus could make it work again. That was his gift, and his curse. The message arrived on a cold morning at his workshop on Station Hadley, a frontier outpost where desperate ship captains came when they had nowhere else to turn. Marcus was elbow-deep in a malfunctioning gravity stabilizer when his assistant Rin burst through the door, her scales shimmering with excitement. Rin was a young Valerian, barely into her second cycle, but she had steady hands and a quick mind. "Marcus, you need to see this," she said, her voice trembling with barely contained energy. She thrust a datapad toward him, nearly dropping it in her eagerness. Marcus wiped the grease from his hands and took the device. On the screen was a signal analysis, but unlike anything he had seen before. The pattern was complex, rhythmic, almost musical. It repeated every 47 seconds with mathematical precision. "Where did this come from?" Marcus asked, his experienced eyes scanning the data. "The Ashran Expanse," Rin replied. "It's been broadcasting for 3 days now. The Coalition detected it but can't decode it. They're calling it a false echo, some kind of cosmic interference." Marcus shook his head slowly. "This isn't interference. This is deliberate. This is a call." He pulled up the coordinate data and felt his breath catch. The signal originated from a region of space that had been marked as a ship graveyard for over 400 years. Dozens of vessels had vanished there during the last Great War, swallowed by phenomena that scientists still couldn't explain. "The Coalition issued a warning," Rin continued. "They're saying it's too dangerous to investigate. That whatever's out there has been dead for centuries and should stay that way." Marcus smiled, the kind of smile that had gotten him into trouble more times than he could count. "Then it's a good thing we don't work for the Coalition." 2 days later, they were approaching the coordinates in the Runner's Chance, Marcus's personal repair vessel. It wasn't much to look at. A patchwork craft built from salvaged parts and held together by Marcus's skill, but it was reliable. As they dropped out of faster-than-light travel, the sight before them stole every word from Marcus's throat. The dreadnought hung in the void like a sleeping titan. It was enormous, easily 8 kilometers from end to end, dwarfing every ship Marcus had ever seen. Its hull was dark, almost black, but patterns of faint blue light traced across its surface like veins carrying lifeblood. The design was elegant yet powerful, curves and angles that seemed to follow rules of engineering that humanity had never discovered. "By the 7 moons," Rin whispered. "What is that?" Marcus leaned forward in his seat, his engineer's mind already cataloging details. "That's an Eternal-class dreadnought. I've only seen pictures in archaeological databases. The Eternals disappeared 5 centuries ago. Every trace of their civilization just vanished overnight. Their ships were supposed to be myths." "Myths don't send distress signals," Rin said, echoing his own thoughts. As they approached, the Runner's Chance sensors came alive with data. The ship's systems were reading energy signatures that shouldn't exist, materials that bent light in impossible ways, and a power source that registered as both active and dormant simultaneously. "Life support is active inside," Rin reported, her fingers dancing across the console. "Atmosphere is breathable. Temperature is stable. But there's no crew, no biological signatures at all." Marcus began preparing his equipment, gathering tools that had served him well across 100 repairs. "Something's keeping those systems running. After 500 years, that's not automatic. That's intentional." They docked at what appeared to be a maintenance port, the Runner's Chance looking like a child's toy next to the massive hull. As the airlock cycled, Marcus felt a strange sensation, like static electricity dancing across his skin. The ship was aware of them. He couldn't explain how he knew, but he was certain of it. The interior corridor stretched before them, tall enough for beings 3 times their height. Emergency lighting flickered to life as they stepped inside, as if the ship was waking from a long sleep. The walls were smooth, almost organic in appearance, with circuits and conduits visible beneath transparent panels. Everything glowed with that same soft blue light. "It's beautiful," Rin said softly, her usual excitement replaced by reverence. Marcus knelt beside a wall panel, studying the intricate patterns of energy flowing through the ship. Other engineers would have seen alien technology, incomprehensible and dangerous. But Marcus saw something different. He saw logic, purpose, and design. Every machine, no matter its origin, followed principles. Energy in, energy out. Cause and effect. Problem and solution. The coalition was wrong, he said, placing his hand against the cool surface. This ship isn't dead. It's waiting. As if responding to his touch, the corridor ahead brightened. The blue lights pulsed in sequence, creating a path deeper into the ship. Marcus looked at Rin and saw his own mixture of fear and excitement reflected in her eyes. "It's inviting us in," she said. Marcus stood, adjusting his toolkit over his shoulder. "Then let's not keep it waiting. Whatever this ship needs, whatever it's been calling for all these years, I think we're about to find out." They moved forward into the heart of the ancient dreadnought, following the lights into mysteries that had waited centuries to be understood. Marcus didn't know what they would find, but he knew one thing with absolute certainty. This ship didn't need salvage. It needed something far more important. It needed someone who would listen.